This episode is brought to you by Bellator's Publishing, bringing stories to the world that last forever.
Today on Faithfully Fantasy.
Honestly, I would love to have like a Xaden point of view in this one, because imagine Xaden, he's in a meeting and then he's up to here like lining like, what the is she doing? Something really interesting. The Violet said when she sees Brennan, she said that Brennan looked like he had aged like 5 years, and that was just minutes of meeting and just like in a day or something like this. Or like, oh, what's going on? Maybe he's running out of magic or...
Yeah. Ridoc says, I'm kind of wondering what protection we just took off. I've got some ideas. So, wonder if it was protection from Wyvern.
Hello and welcome to Faithfully Fantasy,
The husband and wife podcast talking all things Onyx Storm.
I'm JC,
And I'm Sean.
and today we'll carry on with our deep dive into Onyx Storm. Today covering chapter 6 through 8, and just heads up, this episode contains spoilers for the book, so if you haven't read it, proceed with caution. We'll also be using adult language, so listener discretion is advised.
We are so excited to be getting back into our very deep dive run through of Onyx Storm.
And before we start, just a quick reminder, if you love our content and want even more, check out our subscription plan. You get exclusive monthly content, early access to episodes, and completely ad-free experience. You can subscribe directly on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, but for the best value for your money, visit faithfullyfantasy.com and head to our Become a Member page to find a perfect plan for you.
We were excited to announce last week the book that we will move on to when we wrap up Onyx Storm in July. If you haven't already seen over on Instagram, TikTok or YouTube, we'll be diving into Avelia, learning all about alchemy and obviously falling in love with Kingfisher. Sorry, JC. We're covering Quicksilver by Callie Hart from around mid-July, so if you haven't read it yet, we are giving you plenty of time. We can't wait to get stuck into the deep dive of Quicksilver.
And without further ado, let's get into a squad brief.
Back on the Empyrean. So today, Violet gives the speech of all speeches, urging the Navarian riders to end the century-long fight with the Flyers. Just as she's hitting her stride, the professors are back. Violet could be a politician, a general, or a duchess with that speech. We find out an ex-boyfriend is joining the quest. Boo. Her current one has just become the Duke of Tyrrendor, and we're about to commit high treason. But first, we need our favourite one-legged squad member. Yay, Sawyer! They go to the Wardstone Chamber, commit a cheeky bit of treason, and the Flyers can wield. Hooray! Violet is dragged out of the battle brief by none other than General, no longer a daddy, Aetos, and taken to the Cenarium to face charges of treason. She gets away with it because the treaty is signed and the Eurasian riot has a full pardon as of 8 a.m. this morning. Good thing they fucked with the wards last night then. We meet Queen Mariah and it's all going great until we find out who has replaced Lilith as General of Basgiath, and he is not fit to sit at her desk.
Yeah, it was unexpected, to be honest, when we found out that Aetos was the new general for Basgiath. Yeah, I was like, oh, wait, where's Punchek?
Yeah.
What's going on? But yeah. Okay, now let's start with the history class. History current events are tied as one leads to the other. Let's dive and see what we can glean about the future.
Chapter 6.
Chapter 6, Epigraph.
Never turn your back on a rider. Major Offender's Guide to the Rider's Quadrant, unauthorized edition.
Really short one.
I don't have a lot to say about this epigraph.
Yeah, for me it's so weird. It's maybe like he maybe has a target or things to deliver, and then it's like, I'm gonna put this one there.
Yeah, the only thing that I keep coming back to is why is it unauthorized?
Yes, that's still something like weird. Why you highlight all the effort to build something like this if it's not authorized?
And how did she get hold
and
of
people
it?
are working with this. They're like the weird
Well,
thing.
Violet is.
Yeah.
So how has she got it? It really doesn't relate to much apart from the fact that they guard the backs of the flyer. So it's just about the fight, isn't it, with Aura? But possibly there'll be times where one of our friends turns their back on another rider and it doesn't end well.
True.
Bit of foreshadowing. But I mean, it's non-specific, isn't it? It's very non-specific.
Yeah, just like completely general. We're going to start with the chapter with Violet facing out of Haven. She was like about to torch Dane, but Violet, they were like, okay, if you're gonna will, you will against me. And she pulled Tairn's power, and then she released her to the sky. So lightning is just splitting the sky.
You dare.
Yeah. And lightning split the sky, and a thunder followed instantly. So loud they shake the masonry. I think this is the time when, obviously, the professors have to like, oh, what was that? What's going on? But I would love to have like a Xaden point of view in this one. Because imagine Xaden, he's in a meeting and then he's up to here like lightning, like, what the fuck is he doing?
Yeah.
And then just, to see what's going on.
I didn't think of it like that. Like, what are the people from off-screen seeing?
Yeah.
But I think you're right. They'll see the lightning in the sky, the shaking of the masonry, and then they'll be like running towards the quadrant.
Maybe everyone is looking at Xaden like awkwardly, like, oh, you are here, so...
Well, it can't be that. Shall I get the wing leader?
Yes, and there's a part when Xaden goes there and Violet's like telling to Dane like, thank you very much for just coming when I told you to come. So they have like a moment and Xaden is like opening the eyes and she's even saying like, he's jealous? So, yeah, so it's like the whole package. First line and then she really close to Dane. Violet is just telling to everyone that Dane is the reason that everyone there is alive.
I know, but then there's like, she says Dane's too honourable to wield in a fight, doesn't she? And then she's like, he's not going to fight you, but I will, basically, to Aura. Mm-hmm. What the fuck is Dane Aetos going to do? Like, he's going to wield memories. Like, he's too honourable to wield in a fight. But I don't think he's too honourable. I think he's just not powerful enough. Don't get me wrong, I like Dane now, but he's not going to do much in a fight, is he?
I mean, I give him like a little chance if he can do the signal without touching, but obviously he needs to touch, at least officially, to use it.
But even then, you're seeing memories, you're not seeing like what they're going to do.
Maybe you can give it some, I don't know, emotional
if he gets punched in the face, he can just re-watch himself getting punched in the face from someone else's memory.
Oh,
like, what's he going to do in a fight? I'm sorry. Yeah, I like Dane now, but... And then later on, Sloane says, what? How come you've got all this power? Like, what can he do with it?
Yeah, it's just like storage all the power in his body, maybe.
Do you know what? Like, I don't think I would be scared of Dane's signet because I always talk about things. I like tell everyone everything that's happened in my life. I'm so open that I'd be like, oh, good, I'm not going to tell you because you can just watch it all.
Yeah. Where is the popcorn?
Yeah.
Violet, she's still preparing for war while Reed is calling for her. Then we had a whispering from Ridoc, like, shh, it's more fun when she blows shit up.
Yeah, we love Ridoc.
Oh, yeah. This moment is just like, I can completely imagine Ridoc just like with the popcorn, just like, oh, what's going to happen here?
Ridoc has so many good moments in this book. Like, even in these next few chapters, like when they go get Sawyer, he like comes into his own, doesn't he?
Yeah. And you can tell there's a massive character growth in this book for Ridoc, which is a little bit concerning.
That's not ideal, is it?
No, you remember Rebecca Yarros' words, you meant the character grow, you made the character everyone loves, and then you kill it.
Yeah, that's what she's doing with Dane as well.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see the sacrifice that we're all expecting. They're going to sacrifice himself for Violet or Xaden.
Yeah, I'm still convinced he's going to have to kill his own dragon. Something's going on with Kath. And I'm still suspicious. I'm not sure. I'm going to be on the lookout. I'm not sure there were any more Kath is suspicious moments.
No.
in Onyx Storm, but I'm going to keep a lookout in the reread.
Yeah, there were not many like moments with Dane, so he was involved, but
There was a lot of Dane. There just wasn't a lot of Kath.
in the end, out of Haven changed their mind after all the line show.
She's like, never mind. She thought she was
shit.
fighting Dane. She thought she was fighting that all-powerful memory reader.
Yeah,
Like,
but
never mind.
you can see it because first she was like against this first year. I mean, she's a win leader. She's a third year, and he goes against a pure cadet. They just start to figure out like what's going on in Basquiat. The poor creature can do anything against her, and then who comes to defend? Dane, the signet, can do anything against. So she was like, "Oh yeah, you want to a piece of me? You're going to get it." And,
Thunder. Sorry, that was a sound effect. Thunder. Can you insert a proper sound effect?
I'll see. Obviously, she's not going to wheel against Violet, but she's still fighting back with the argument that they not shouldn't be fighting the fight from the Flyers because all the fight is just between Flyers and Brennan. They are like nothing to do with all of that.
Yeah. And Caroline, my BFF, brought down the wards. Ashton comes out with, "You expect us to trust them?" I'm sorry. Did your best friend not just become a venom and destroy the wards? Anyway, sorry, move on.
True. But yeah, here's the moment when you say at the beginning when Violet give it like the speech.
Sorry, I couldn't move on from that. Do you think Caroline Ashton is good?
No, I still think that she really sus. There's a lot of stuff that we don't know about her, but the little things that we know is all related to Jack Barlow or dodgy stuff.
Taking bets on the fight.
Yeah.
Something up with her.
Violet telling they're having this fight for centuries now. If they're not going to change, if they're not going to be like that generation, they're going to do something about it. Everything is just going to shit because eventually the war is going to be affected to Navarre. So they had to fight all together. And everyone was in silence. Nobody can say anything about it because they know that she was right about it.
I wanted to say a bit about the speech because I think there's a hint here that supports our it's not just our theory. So one of our listeners commented a while back on one of our shows about how they thought the ending of the book was going to pan out. And I think there's a hint here towards it. So Violet says, "Either this alliance begins right here with us, with our generation, or we will be the last dragon riders and griffin flyers on the continent." And this right here is how we now believe the series is going to end, right? Mm-hmm. So about how the great sacrifice will have to be that nobody has access to the magic. The magic is no longer wieldable or channelable. Mm-hmm. And it would just be such a fitting ending for a series about people who change your history, or the scribes changing the history, if the book is in fact about our history, and this story is why we are no longer worthy of dragons, why we are no longer worthy of griffins, and there is no magic left in the land.
Yeah.
It would be a really sad ending, but I don't know, it just feels like such a fitting ending for a book whose main theme is around editing out history.
We are reading the story that Yesenia is telling about it. And obviously all the stuff that she always sent, the recovered correspondence from somebody, or this, the names have been conserved to honor all those when they fall. So it's like telling you maybe the story about how there's no more magic anymore, or how everything ends.
Yeah, I don't necessarily think it means everyone dies, because we know that the Seventh Den can break the bond between a dragon and a rider. So I don't think it means that everyone dies. I think it'll be, judging by Rebecca Yarros' other books, I'm not going to spoil any by naming them, but they do tend to be happy endings, but not the happy ending that you were expecting.
Mm-hmm.
And there is a lot of tragedy and a lot of heartbreak. And I just feel like that kind of breaking of the bonds forever between dragons and humans and griffins and humans and having no longer access to magic could be the sad part or the tragic part of an ending. But it doesn't mean they all die. It just means they're no longer bonded and there's no means for humans to channel magic. But we'll see. We've got 2 more books. We have been so wrong about so many things.
When everyone is just in silence, like having this reflection from Violet's speech, the Vera is the first one to comes to the place and start to talk, this is what you do when we give you some break. And then she said that, yes, the Vera, Emeterio, and Kaori are back. And Violet said, oh, thanks, Dune.
Why does she thank Dune there? Of all the gods, I don't think there's a reason for it other than maybe Rebecca just like planting the Dune storyline right from the beginning. Because obviously we learn a lot. Well, we don't learn a lot more, but we get a lot more of Dune in this book.
So the Vera says that Sorangel is right. That this is a fight that everyone needs to fight. There's not just flyers, it's riders included. And then Emeterio is the one that says that he likes the odds, that they have now a lightning wielder and a shadow wielder together. And there's been a couple of centuries since last time that happened.
Yeah. What is that about? Which book did he read that in? And where can we get a hold of it? It's odd to me because this doesn't come back for the rest of the book. And you think Violet would want to speak to Emeterio about where he's found that out and what it could mean. And it's also a few hundred years, not 650 years or 600 years. So just a few hundred years ago, what did we have? And it makes me wonder what the first Croveland uprising was. We hear a lot about the second Croveland uprising in this book, but what was the first Croveland uprising? And then why is the shadow wielder and the lightning wielder not been seen in a few hundred years? Was it something to do with the Croveland uprising, the first one?
It's really interesting, all of this, because we knew the shadow wielders and lightning wielders from Fort Wayne or Iron Flame was something really rare. That's why Xaden was like the strongest his generation before Violet came. But we never thought there was like that specifically like rare.
Yeah, it comes back to that epigraph. Is it in chapter 1 or chapter 2? I can't remember. One of the earlier epigraphs where it says the rarest signets are known to materialize once in a generation or once in centuries, but only once have the 6 most powerful walked the earth at the same time.
Yeah.
And it comes back to that, doesn't it? Where obviously this is the confirmation that lightning wielder and shadow wielder are 2 of those 6 most powerful. It was obvious anyway, but this is like the confirmation now, isn't it?
Yeah. So with the professors, Brennan and Xaden are back as well to the courtyard. Something really interesting that Violet said when she sees Brennan, she said that Brennan looked like he had aged like 5 years, and that was just minutes of meeting. And I found it like really interesting because, you know, as a writer, sometimes you put something that could mean like, yeah, maybe he's talking about all the stress that he's coming through all of this, but at the same time, maybe it's something literally and might be like a reason for that. So when I read that part that he looked like he aged 5 years and just like in a day or something like this, or like, oh, what's going on? Maybe he's running out of magic, or
yeah. I didn't know that. I didn't notice that.
Yeah, it's really subtle, and I think it's built in the way that you need to think that Brennan is so stressed that he's going with so many things, but at the same time, you know, the devils and the details.
Yeah, How interesting. I hadn't seen that one. I like that theory.
Also, is Brennan is the one who tells to Violet that Halden is in the meeting, and he is saying that he's coming to the quest as well. And she is obviously like, no, take it.
Yeah. No, thank you. I do not want to spend any more time with my ex-boyfriend who cheated on me.
Yeah, I think maybe this could be like the first time that we had like a reference, because once Brennan said that Mira is looking like really intensely Violet and Xaden, maybe she's like thinking, does Xaden know they're being together or something? But
Yeah.
she's like looking but saying nothing.
Something that happens here is that Llewellyn says to Auric, you might consider putting your father out of his misery. He's got half of his guard looking for you. This struck out to me because Auric, Cam, does not, like, he hates his father. He says even later in this chapter that he would destroy the family, he would bring down the family business before he goes back to it.
Yeah.
Either the relationship is one way, and King Tauri actually does love his youngest son, or he just really needs a spare heir to the throne. Which do you think it is? Do you think King Tauri does actually care for Cam? I think he does. I don't know why I get this feeling, but I think King Tauri is out searching for Auric because he cares about him.
Yeah.
I want to believe that anyway. Maybe my natural thing is to give people the benefit of the doubt.
I don't know how to take it, because like taking out his misery, is it because he's really sad, or maybe because he's really stressed that he's the king and he doesn't know where his son is, and doesn't matter like how much power he has, how many resources, he still has no clue. So maybe like feeling that he's like so powerless for something so simple as like to find out where your own son is.
Yeah, we've not done like a deep character dive on King Tauri. He would be like quite low down the priority list to do that for, I think. But now I'm just thinking out loud about it. Yes, he's doing some terrible things for the continent, isn't he? He's like protecting Navarre only. But it's like similar to Lilith Sorrengail's argument in that she was like protecting her own. And just because he's doing all that, it doesn't mean he doesn't love his children. But he is like, you just think, oh, he's this tyrant king and he's a bad guy. He is bad for editing history, and he's bad for like letting the continent burn when he's safe in his castle. So all of that is bad, but it doesn't mean he doesn't love his children.
It's a little bit maybe like Lily Sorrengail with the children. All the stuff that she can do for them could be a little bit like not ethical.
I think she was playing the longer game, though. I think all of that was a bit bullshitty. I think she just was doing her own. She was doing a plan. She was carrying on Daddy Sorrengail's work somehow, and to do that, she had to be on the good side of Melgren. There's another nod in this part to Auric's character, and I just wanted to call it out because this will help us later, and as we go through, and we said this a little bit last week in the question, is he manifesting his precognition signet here, or is this just his character? And it does say he's like watching people, and Violet says that there's no doubt that he's cataloguing every shift in expression as he's been raised to do. He's always been the most observant of his brothers. And that, like, part of it is just his character. He's very good. He's been trained to do that. But also that could be kind of him at his core. He's observant. He's seeing things. And that's kind of maybe a hint to what his signet was going to be later in the book. So a little bit of foreshadowing there for the later in the book. But also just a reminder that he is all of those things anyway. So perhaps when we think he's manifesting his signet, he might not be. It might just be his natural ability to be observant.
Yeah, we need to remember that he's a prince and he's being raised from different way to the rest of the people.
He's quickly becoming one of my favourite characters, Auric.
So They're having a moment when they're talking, and then Brennan is the one that said that they were there when they listened to the speech that Violet was sent to all the riders and the flyers. And he said, yeah, we heard and we saw. He said that like, really proudly. They said that she would be really good as a politician. Then Arik is the one that said maybe as a general. And then Xaden is like, no, with that speech, she will be like good as a duchess. So,
Spoiler alert.
yeah, a little bit of foreshadowing here.
Yeah, also, it shows where their heads are at. So, Brennan naturally says politician. He's in the middle of the negotiations. He's a tactician. He's part of the Assembly of Erasure. Oryx says the general. He is well and truly military. He is not going to be a royal. He doesn't want to be king at all. He's very
a rider now.
Yeah, he's a rider. And he's a narration rider as well. He's not a Navarian rider. And then Xaden is like, at the moment, for this book, he is like first and foremost Violet's partner. He isn't the Duke of Tyrrendor. He isn't the professor, although he is. He isn't a rider, although he is. He is first and foremost Violet's partner, and you see that several times throughout the book. So this is just one of those times. All of those suggestions just show where the characters' heads are at.
Yeah,
I think it's cool.
This part, there's a messenger looking for Xaden, so he has to go. And there's the part when they start to highlight this like deeply conversation about Halden trying to like be on the quest. And then is when we found out that actually, yes, Violet had a relationship with him.
We suspected this.
Yes, we are talking about it, and people were like, no, I can't be.
We don't know anything about him, but we didn't. We don't know anything about anything, but we still take wild guesses.
But even Tairn was like, Halden?
Yeah.
Really?
So I thought this was really weird. How the hell does Tairn know Halden? He said that like he knew him.
Yeah. Like Halden, not the prince.
Yeah.
Which is weird because he normally always put in names to.
Yeah, he never calls humans by their name.
Yeah.
Not even Violet.
Yeah. So I found that weird.
What's that about?
Halden? Like, seriously?
Let's think about this like rationally. Xaden killed his twin brother. That is something we were desperately trying to work out, like how old he might have been and how it would work with him being in infantry. And we never thought that they would be twins.
Yeah.
It's obvious, isn't it? Like if you're struggling with the age gap, there maybe isn't an age gap. Anyway, Sigale's rider killed his twin brother. So Sigale tells Tairn, but would they really know to learn the name?
Even if they just know the names, is the weird part is that he actually call him by the name.
Yeah, the prince.
I find that curious,
the basket nerd. I'd call him the basket nerd, but that hasn't happened yet.
No, the moment would be just like
baby.
The prince, yeah, like the human prince or something.
Yeah.
But say Halden, and then Violet says that. Well, she said that he can feel the Tairn's non-existent eyebrows rising. Like he's surprised about it.
I think we're overthinking it, to be honest, but it is weird.
So Andarna can feel that Violet is not happy about it, and she said, "Well, we just kill him, and that's it." And she was like, "No, you can't kill a prince or the one who is going to have the crown or Navarre," even when she tried a couple of times before. But yeah, that's something that she needs to suck it up. Then Luella tell her that, okay, there's other stuff that we managed to get for you. So she tell her the other stuff that they actually get from Andarna list. And one of those is what the Andarna now has access to and private forest from the king. So she can get there and hunt anytime. And Andarna was like, yeah, that was just for fun. Brennan also tell her that they couldn't do anything for the flyers. The flyer has to go. And that's going to happen soon.
Yeah, Brennan says that particular matter didn't make it to Poromiel's table. So Brennan had taken it to the Cenarium. The Cenarium decided not to tell Poromiel that they could do that. they voted 6-1 against.
Mm-hmm.
So there's 7 people in the scenarium, and that is all the nobility of Navarre plus Melgren.
Mm-hmm.
Is Xaden in the scenarium at this point? No, because the Eurasian treaty hasn't been signed.
No, he's not been part of the scenario yet because the messenger, I think, is telling the news or something related to that. They need to go to the king to get the title back and that kind of stuff.
So it will just be Llewellyn. So the one person that voted to do it would have been Tyrrendor, or the one province. Yeah. Everyone else, no. So there's only one other option.
Mm-hmm.
Treason!
Yeah. Xaden comes back after talking with the messenger. Violet found out as well that Llewellyn and Lindell, they've been talking about get back Fen Ryerson's sword. So they want him back. And she said, oh my god, that should be like something really good for you. But he's still like not feeling it because he said that, well, I didn't like earn it. So I think maybe it's because his dad maybe did something to like deserve everything. But it was just more like they were just fighting for something that he didn't want because he's still feeling that he's a venom. He shouldn't have that power or that like symbol. And then he tells as well that Llewellyn and Lindell, they've been punishment for kid erasure. Yes. So now he is the Duke of Tyrrendor. Mm-hmm. And she's like, holy shit.
Yeah. So, this I really, really wanted to talk about because at the end there is a lot of speculation about the letter, the note that Xaden gives to Violet. It says, it's yours now. And then we've seen a few things that say it can't be Tyrrendor, it's the soul, because whenever Xaden talks about Tyrrendor, he talks about she and not it. Mm-hmm. But that is, I'm here to debunk that theory. So let me read. I've been trying to think of a way out of it for the last hour. The king sanctioned both Lindell and Llewellyn for their roles in hiding erasure, just like they predicted this morning. So they're not options, and I can't reject the agreement or everyone will know something is wrong. His tortured gaze finds mine, and my heart clenches. The only solution I can think of is you. That is where I want to link to the only solution I can think of is you. And kind of like you're going to be the one that knows that I'm safe. And I feel like he's talking here about keeping her close as the Duchess. And that's the only way that he can keep Tyrrendor safe. Swear you'll sound the alarm. If I go too far, that you'll keep it safe. Even if it's from me. That you'll keep Tyrrendor safe. And he's talking here about it. Keep it safe. And then he says, not just erasure either. He gave me Tyrrendor. Xaden says slowly, like he can't believe it either. And he doesn't want it. Mm-hmm. I really think that this is a keep it safe erasure.
Yeah.
I don't think he's talking about an artifact. I don't think he's talking about a soul. I think he's talking literally about erasure. It makes sense. And I know that this is not unhinged, and maybe I'll come back with some unhinged theories later on because that's normally my trademark, but I genuinely do believe that this is just about Tyrrendor.
Not completely sure, but I think I saw like a reel from Rebecca Yarros when she wasn't doing this tour, and I think somebody asking as well about like how Xaden referred maybe to Tyrrendor as a she, it, or that kind of stuff. And I think she said that he doesn't have like a specific way. He's just like how he feels at the moment. Mm-hmm. He just say one thing or the other one.
Oh, okay.
So I think as well, I'm pretty sure that in the last part of the book when he says it's yours now because she has the ring. That ring symbolizes she's now the Duchess of Tyrrendor. She's the leader of the whole province. So the province is yours.
Yeah. I don't think it means she's not going to be a rider. I don't necessarily think it means she'll be in the scenarium.
He was Duke Tyrrendor, and he was a rider. he was a professor, so
Yeah, be what he was a lot of things in this book.
yeah. So definitely Violet can afford to be the Duchess of Tyrrendor and Ryder as well, Cadet, Sorangel.
I think the scenario would keep her too busy. She's got a lot to do. We'll see. We'll see. I do think she's the Duchess of Tyrrendor and she's in control because I think that Bodhi is the one that turned. But there's so much time to add some more unhinged theories as we get towards the end of the book.
We are just starting, so...
Yeah. Chapter 7?
Chapter 7.
The epigraph. If I'm to be court-martialed for helping Braxton defend his people, then I shall welcome the trial. All who channel from dragon and griffin alike should flourish under the wards, and now Aurasia will be that haven, should one of the others ever return. Journal of Lyra of Moraine, translated by Cadet Jacinia Neilward. So, I was looking at this epigraph for a while, and I was looking at the should one of the others return. And I was like, oh, it must be one of the first 6, but it's not, is it? What she means is there is now a wardstone in Aurasia, and she was the one that put it there, or she made that happen. And there will be protection should one of the others return. She means the 7th den.
7th den.
So it's should one of the others return. They never did. And that is why the wardstone was cold. That was why it was never imbued. But as we come to the bit where they do actually modify the wardstone, we find out that the runes are different in Aurasia on the wardstone than they are. Well, we know that from Iron Flame. But it makes specific reference to the fact that they're different. And I wonder if, you know how the wards didn't work in Aurasia and they didn't fully work because they didn't use the 7th den, but the flyers could wield. I had a feeling that the flyers would be able to wield anyway, and the wards were not strong and they were always going to fail because they didn't have the 7th breed. But I think the flyers will always be able to wield because the Aurasian wardstone is different. And Lyra here in this epigraph, she says, and all who can channel from dragon and griffin alike should flourish under the wards, and now Aurasia will be that haven. So I think the flyers could always wield under the wards of Aurasia, and that didn't necessarily symbolise that they were broken.
I think if I remember correctly, maybe the difference about the runes between the two stones is the one from Basgayath. They have like some diamonds, so I don't know if maybe the diamonds is just to prevent the flyers to wield, something like that, like put another restriction, because now we know the wardstone can have like maybe layers to different protections or different stuff. So maybe that's one of the things that is against in Basgayath, and I wonder as well like what other things is like in those runes, what is the meaning, because we always think it's just venom, but fires were affected.
Yeah.
So we don't know what else maybe.
I've got some ideas. The other thing I wanted to point out was Braxton, and we've not heard. Braxton is not a name that we've heard before, I don't believe.
No.
But obviously he was a flyer. He was maybe the king, and the only thing that this made me think of was, do you remember the epigraph that said about Brennan having super senses, said our beloved king was killed by a dark wielder who hid in the shadows? Wonder if that was Braxton, because he could have been a beloved king. He was a long time ago, the same time as Lyra, so 600 years ago. Also, it says Lyra of Moraine. We know that Lyra is from Moraine. Moraine is the province where, with the Vale, with Basgayath, with the original wardstone, but she has kind of defected to Tyrrendor. I wonder if this has anything to do with the fact that she potentially was in love with the then rider representative of Tyrrendor, the Black Dragon, bonded. So we're seeing maybe a replication with Violet being...
Started repeating.
Yeah,
again.
Violet being Lyra, Xaden being the one from Tyrrendor. Whoever that was.
Yeah.
Not Warwick, because he is from Lucerys.
So we start the chapter with Ridoc. He wants to join the squad. They think there's doing this quest.
Quest squad!
Yeah, but then is when all the plan starts. They go into the infirmary. On the way, they find Buddy and Queen. They're waiting for them. So Buddy asks to Violet if she is sure about what they're going to do. So yeah, they are completely sure. They're going to the infirmary when she still has some help from an old friend from Iron Flame. So we have Tairn, the
Cadet life debt.
yes, still there. She's still pulling the
I
favor.
think she owes him now.
Yes.
He fixed Oryx's hands after they stole the journals.
Yeah.
When he had blisters all over his hands.
So he's the one who opened the door for them to go in, and he was the one as well who told to Sawyer stay awake. With no reason, just stay awake. Then go to see Sawyer explain like everything what's going on and what they want to do. So Sawyer first reaction is like, okay, then all of you are fucked because I don't remember any like rock or stone wielder that can manipulate the war stone. So
Yeah.
first, like, boom,
This
there.
hits on the reread, doesn't it? You
Yeah.
wouldn't even notice. We didn't even notice it on the first read. But when you know that Imogen has a second signet and she can turn anything to stone,
Yeah.
there she is. There's the stone wielder.
Well, she's not there. It will be interesting to see like
Her
how she
reaction.
reacts to that. But no, she has been sent to get rid of the two guards. They are like guarding the chamber stone. But Violet is the one who says to Sawyer, I'm pretty sure there's more iron than rock. And then Sawyer like, oh, yeah, no. Then, I can't do that because, yeah, I mean, you are in Sawyer's position that you had to manipulate, do this room with this material. And if something goes wrong, then you fuck the only defense.
I
on
don't
the
think.
continent.
No. That's not that. So that is not why he's saying no, because he would be like completely. He would trust them. Why he's saying no is he says he can't even. It says Sleeg won't even, and then he gets cut off. I don't think Sleeg's talking to him. I think he's worried that he can't even channel the power because Sleeg hasn't spoken to him. It's clearly tense later when we know between Sleeg and him. They're like fighting. I think Sleeg is seriously working out whether
If it's
they
worth
want
it.
to stay bonded with Sawyer right now because dragons and it's a red dagger tail, right? And dragons are proud and they're like they don't make accommodations. And unless they're 10. But yeah, I think this is I think he's genuinely thinking whether or not he's good enough to wield. I think he's questioning himself. I don't think he's questioning the treason at all because he's part of the squad. He would do the right thing. But I just think he genuinely doesn't know whether he can wield.
I mean, we saw in the beginning that he was like playing with the mug or something.
Where he picked up the jug and yeah.
Yeah,
So,
that's why I thought that, that maybe it's not wielding too much. That maybe the power is like less because obviously the dragon is not spending any time with him or there's no like this kind of like connection between them. He's always in infirmary. The dragon is, God knows where the dragon is right now, the Vale, I
probably
guess.
lamenting. Probably like...
And like feeling like, okay, I'm a dragon and I'm maybe like a warrior, but maybe because I have no rider, I can't go anywhere or I can't be part of the...
I think he would still fight.
Yeah.
Is it he or she?
I think it's a he. Slade.
But yeah, it's just it was that suspicious. Sleeg won't even what? Like talk to me.
Give me the power or
I don't
be
know if
agreed.
Yeah, I think he can. I think he can have the power because of the jug moment. But yeah, I think he's just lost his confidence.
Yeah, he said there's more like a dozen of metallurgists in the rank. So we know now that he's not going to be one of the second most powerful riders because really it's not that rare.
Yeah,
But,
that's a good point. Because we keep talking about the ones that might be, but at least we can rule some out.
Yeah. But then it's Ridoc, the one who given the speech as
I love
well.
this.
Yes, and then he said that you're a rider, you are a friend, and that means that you are with us and the good bits and the bad bits as well. And right now we need you. So I understand that you're struggling with your leg, but you need to put your shit together because we need you.
He's like, so with all the love in the world, put your fucking uniform on. It's good. Or something like that.
Yeah. And then, yeah, he's just like looking at his uniform, like just rubbing the badge of his uniform and like, yeah, somebody pat me my crotches.
Yeah, I imagine that playing out in the TV adaptation.
Yeah, it's going to be like a
very
epic
dramatic
moment. Like,
yeah,
let's do
he's
this.
going to be back. Yes, Sawyer.
Now they're going to, in the chamber, they had to go obviously on Sawyer's speed. So they're not going as fast as they want to. Violet takes her time to talk to Tairn, like, is the Imperium okay with this? What we're going to do? And then Tairn is more like, well, we will find out tomorrow in the morning when everything is done.
He does say, though, you have the full support of the Oration Riot. And I am super interested in this. So the Imperium, obviously, is based out of the Vale. And you've got the Oration Riot, but they didn't set up their own governing body. They just obviously collectively agreed. Or maybe the Dragons of the Assembly Riders were like the bosses. I don't know. I'm super interested in how in the politics of Eurasia and dragon-wise, and how they kind of branched away from the Imperium. But they don't give a shit. They don't care. They don't care that the Imperium are going to hate it. But I do think it might backfire. So let's keep going. The other thing that happens in this scene is an exchange between Bodhi and Violet. Bodhi says, you're going to have to be the one that tells Xaden that this is what we've done, because you're the only one, because he's not going to kill you. Do you genuinely think Bodhi thinks that Xaden could kill him? This is interesting. Is it a joke? Or is he being serious?
I think maybe it's between a joke, but at the same time, he knows that Xaden, he would be so crowded, maybe he would punch you in the face or something would be like more physical with him than with Violet. With Violet, maybe we just shout and get angry or whatever.
Go all moody.
But that's it. Yeah. It won't do like something physically to hurt her. But with Bodhi or with Garrick, yeah, it would be like some punching, so some physical contact. I think
this one fits again into the bracket of when Rebecca Yarros said, watch out for the person that, like, whatever they do isn't good enough. And when you feel like you can't be the one that's being honest with somebody, that's because they've made you feel like whatever you did was the wrong choice. So it's just another tick in the box for Bodhi's the Brennan for me. Sorry, guys. I'm here with the, like, mainstream, obvious, boring theories, but I
mean, I agree as well. I know that with Garrick, I don't see that many times when he was, like, the one who was, like, know enough or he was failing.
Yeah.
Not, at least not as many times as Bodhi.
Come back to that epigraph in Iron Flame as well, where it says Bodhi, like, perpetually one step behind.
Yeah, exactly. The only mistake that the Gary had was that it's him with a cake, but it's not something that you would think that he wasn't good enough.
That would
something.
be me, wouldn't it, though? If somebody puts cake in front of you, you eat it.
Yeah. He was doing that until found out there was poison. They're like, oh shit. So Mira is dead. And Emma just said, like, yeah, I wasn't sure that you want me to, like, get rid of this one.
Yeah.
But Mira is like, yeah, I knew that you were doing this. And she was like, how? Well, because I know you.
Yeah, also there is a moment, it's like she doesn't want to do it, but she will do it. And Violet says, you were there when we made that agreement with Takaris. We have to keep the flyer cadets safe. So we were a little bit confused about this last week, weren't we?
Yeah.
Where
What was the agreement?
What was Takaris' agreement? And it is when you said it was the Luminary and it was that, you were right in that it's still part of the previous deal, but because they're not in Erasure, they're in Basgayath, she has to work to keep them safe within the wards.
Yes, I think Mira doesn't want to do it. She knows that Violet's going to do it anyway. So Mira thought is like, okay, she's gonna do it anyway. If I'm here, I can stop her now. But in a week or something like that, she was going to try again, and it's gonna be without me. So if it's going to happen, better if I am here just in case something happen. So yeah, they're going,
and better that Brennan's there as well.
Yes, and then when they found out that Brennan is there waiting for them, it's like, okay, now it's a family matter.
Yeah, Brennan's needed just in case he has to repair the wardstone again.
So in the chamber, we're having some flashes for Violet, so she starts to hear the mother, all the scene that happened just a couple of weeks ago. Really, she get over that because she haven't had a moment to processing everything. She's just holding until something happened, then it's boom. So she tells to Ray, well, what's happening right now? She tells her, and then she's like, oh, I'm so sorry. So she had that support there. And then it's here when we see the Sawyer start to do with his magic, is doing all these changes in the Wardstone. And there's a moment where you can see that he's is struggling as well. Maybe it's because he needs to focus that much that even the hand start to shake. There's a thing apart when something is melting or something's coming out, and then Brennan is the one who shouts to Ridoc I'm laying, and then he do
Nice, yeah,
a ball of ice just to make sure that it's not going to happen anything else.
Yeah, not going to break the wardstone.
Yeah, but they were like, oh shit.
Yeah, that was a mistake.
Yeah.
It says, we watch a spot on the top line of runes differentiating Navarre's wardstone from Erasures bubbling outward. That is where I think the differentiation from Erasure comes in, and we talked about in the epigraph, where I wonder whether the flyers can actually wield in Erasure anyway, even when the 7th Den dragon came to reset the wards. Ridoc says, on this bit where they kind of have a boo-boo, they make a mistake, Ridoc says, I'm kind of wondering what protection we just took off. I've got some ideas. So wonder if it was protection from Wyvern. So we know that the previous wards, the Wyvern couldn't get in.
They would die.
Yeah, I can foresee a situation where there's Wyvern coming and they're like, it's fine, there's wards. The Wyvern can pass the wards. That would be quite a
shit moment, oh shit.
Yeah, I can see that happening. I also wonder that we have previously talked around Onyx Storm about how the dragons can channel from the ground, but they do not drain the ground. What if there's some kind of protection in the wards that allow the dragons a little bit more power from the ground, and there's some kind of form of control there? And what if that's gone? I know that's a little bit more weird, but...
Yes, but just the fact that there is some mention about it, the reader, the one saying it, is just...
Something's happened.
Yeah, it's leaving the doors open to maybe yes, the players can will, but the price is something else that we don't even know. Yeah,
and I wonder, one, I don't know why they didn't get Kat to do this, because she's way better at runes than everybody else. Because they have to do some kind of manipulation. But they made a mistake, and there's definitely going to be consequences from it. It's just going to come back later, isn't it? But what else could it be? So Wyvern, Dragon. I don't think it's the Venom because Mira says I'm 99% sure that it still protects against Venom.
They check later on with Jack and everything is fine.
I don't think they do check with Jack. They say they need to check with Jack.
No, there was later they check and there's no like other reference the Jack is fine.
Yeah, and Xaden, in the scenario, Xaden says they're still intact against Venom. And then, like, the Duchess of Moraine is like, how would you know? And then he says to Violet, I would know. I just would know. So I don't think it's something to do with the Venom. But Wyvern,
yeah,
I could definitely see
good
that.
Call, I think.
Just wonder what else those wards are doing.
It's so far it's just protecting against Dark Wielders, Venom, like, all related to them and Flyers.
Back and... Because there's a bit where Mira gives Violet some extra information about the wards. Mm-hmm. And there's a bit where she's researching the wards. Maybe there's a little bit of information that we didn't pick up on.
But I really like that. Something is broken, but we don't know yet exactly what it is. And could be that maybe Wyvern now have access to the wards.
Yeah.
Yeah, after... They do this. Marin is the one who is like holding a rock in her hand, so she can wield. She's doing like just laser magic, and it's working. So for them, like, yeah, success, we did it. And now what? Now, well, we have until tomorrow and wait for treason.
I'm just gonna put my neatly cut lightning wielder badge here so that people will know that it was me.
Yes, this is, well, it's going to be next chapter when I see that, my gosh, Violet is just so, like, amazing in this book.
She's different.
She's so, like, strategy, like, thinking so way in advance. And it's just coming with, because it's not even like she's being reckless, like, she's taking in consideration the risks, but she know the odds, and she know that she had, like, a good strategy. So it's like, wow.
Yeah, she's everything, isn't she? She's like everything from her dad and her mum combined, and that is the point. That is what they keep saying. But she had her in Iron Flame. She wasn't like that. She'd had her foundations pulled out from underneath her.
Yeah.
And now she's like growing, and Rebecca Yarros said that "Who's Afraid of Little Old Me?" This Taylor Swift song is. Very Onyx Storm, and it absolutely is.
So the next day they have Battle Brief. So finally they start like a little bit of like something normal. Or
yeah, it's weird because Devera and Emeterio. Yeah, Kaori's been there, but Devera and Emeterio have been in Erasure anyway. But they're not somebody else taking Battle Brief in all that time.
Marcon.
Yeah,
he's the one who's been.
But why hasn't he been doing it while Devera is away? You'd think he would have just carried on.
Yeah, it's just weird, but now they come with a plan. So Devera is going to start again with Battle Brief. She is not alone. She is now Professor Kendra. Is a flyer. She was
at Erasure.
Yeah. So they're going to start with Battle Brief, and they're going to start to put some order as well, some structure. So they mentioned the wing leaders. So because it's like a little bit of chaos, and they're like, okay, now we're going to have our wing leaders for everyone. They mentioned the wing leaders. And yeah, something that we were like wondering in the previous episode, like Aura Van Haven, that she was with first wing.
Yeah, we've got some corrections to issue.
Yeah.
We need to correct. She's second wing. She was fighting with first wing, wasn't she? Because she was the senior wing leader. She was just supporting all of them.
Yeah, and because everyone was saying like first wing is so strong, and they were like so all together. So that's why I was like,
as first wing.
Yeah, but yeah, definitely we say it. How is that possible? Because she was second wing, she's still second wing.
Iris Drew, first wing, right?
Yes. And third one is Lyle. Yeah. And I believe fourth wing is Dane Aetos.
So someone's shouting, "That's not fair!" when they say that basically they're going to go with whoever's got the biggest wing, Navarre or Erasure, the wing leader of that wing will keep the rank. You'll stay in your squads, so I think that means that the squads increase, the number of squads increase. And they're like, with the addition of the flyers, the third and fourth wings are the biggest, and that will give them an advantage in war games. And Devera's like, we're not playing war games, we're actually in a war, so it doesn't actually matter. Are they for real? Like, they don't see what's happening. So obviously a few weeks ago the Brennan attacked.
Yeah.
Nobody died from second wing, which is either because they didn't actually fight or because they're super soldiers, which is what we suspect. They're like experimenting with Venom, like secret Venom Earth power, possibly like the way that the dragons are doing it. So they're not becoming Venom, they're not draining the ground, but they found a way of bypassing. Anyway, Magic's not going to be happy about it. They're just not real, are they, these riders that stayed behind?
Yeah, there was some conversation with the squad as well. Like, are they forgotten? Like, they've been fighting for our lives.
Idiots.
Like, yeah.
The other thing I wanted to mention was that they're really protective of Kai. And I think that's just because he was the one that was... he punched Aura Haven in the face. We think.
It wasn't
Kai.
really clear.
So
but, yeah.
they're like, she's going to get him back at some point. So they're protecting him, like by flanking him. Kat here confirms that Xaden is the Duke of Turandor, according to her uncle, as of 8 a.m. this morning. Right. Question.
Yeah. How they managed so quick.
It is now 9 a.m. They're in battle brief because Devera said battle brief will start at 9 a.m. sharp. So it's around about 9.
Yeah.
5 to 9.
After 9, definitely.
As of 8 o'clock this morning, it was signed. How did they communicate that? He's not there. She would have... Surely Violet would have got the news from Xaden before. How did Kat and Takaris communicate in maximum 55 minutes?
No idea, because it can be like Griffon, because they don't fly that fast neither. And they're like, hours, maybe days away.
Yeah.
And
is that a plot hole, or is there a way that they've been communicating?
Like walkie-talkie rooms.
Mobile phones. Oh, walkie-talkie rooms.
Yeah.
They could have.
I mean, why not? Communication room, like distance. That you can be like a sound seeker if you have a specific rune or something. We still like finding out stuff about runes. We don't know like all of them.
Yeah, we never found anything else out about the rune daggers. But we were obsessed with that. It's just made me remember. And the 2 rune daggers that were in the cave with Solus, they never came back. Some of the things that we thought, like, still unresolved. Huh. Anyway, we got a lot of answers in Onyx Dawn, but we did not get
all of them. Yeah.
I have a sneaky suspicion that one might be a plot hole. But we'll see.
We might find out later on. They have like a really good communication system, the flyers, the dragons, riders.
Yeah, walkie-talkie runes.
Yeah, they're still using just like directly messenger. Somebody flying with a dragon with a bag full of letters.
Scribes. I don't think you're a messenger rider.
So the class is interrupted and somebody shouting, Violet Sorrengale. And it's Colonel Aetos is what Violet sees. And then it's like, you're being accused of treason. You have to come now with me. And they're like, oh shit. Nobody says anything. That's the end of chapter 7.
Chapter 8. While many preach loyalty to Hadean above all others, especially in Calder province, I find that favouring Zanal has universal appeal. Everyone wants wisdom, but needs luck. Major Rorley's Guide to Appeasing the Gods, 2nd edition. Zanal's my favourite.
Why?
Don't know, I just love the scene on the island. Even though Traeger doesn't make it. I just really like it. It's
Just luck.
the whole like premise of the god of luck.
Mm-hmm.
We talk about luck quite a lot, don't we? And we try to teach our children that luck is
Point of view.
a point of view, is a perspective. And I always try and describe that as, say, you're crossing the road and you get hit by a car.
Mm-hmm.
Awful situation. And you survive. You could sit there and you could be like, oh my God, gods, I am so unlucky. Zanal was not with me today. I got hit by a car and I'm now in hospital. Or you could say, wow, Zanal was really with me today. I got hit by a car and I survived. So both of those, nothing changes about the situation. The only thing that changes is your perception of it. And I do appreciate there are situations in the world where there is no way that you could think that you're a lucky person. Like some of the trauma that people go through, I totally get that. But in a lot of situations, it depends on your mindset. I just find the whole concept of luck just really fascinating, especially we'll talk about it when they go to Zelna. I just think Zanal's my favourite. Why do people favour Xaden, especially in Cold Air, the god of knowledge? What's that link?
I guess if you have knowledge, you have a lot of stuff done for yourself.
I think this is really, really clever writing from Rebecca Yarros. So we learn later that Xaden favours those who don't pray to him. Really randomly. He prefers it if you don't and you get knowledge. What is the situation in Calder, in Navarre, at the moment? They're being lied to. They don't have the knowledge of the wider world. They're ignorant because they're not being told. Everything's being hidden from them. But they're all praying to the god of knowledge and they're favouring the god of knowledge. So he is not with them. Isn't that clever writing? Because she says it later that Xaden favours those who don't pray for him.
Yeah.
So you've got all these chumps in Calder and Navarre favouring Xaden because they want knowledge, and he's not with them because they're praying to him. I don't know whether this is all part of the fact that...
Yeah, it reminds me a little bit, this part of Harry Potter. Spoiler alert, they haven't seen it for a while.
It's you, not me. That's amazing. You've lived with me for too long.
But, well, obviously because I'm so proud, like, something that you don't know about Harry Potter. The part when 12 people are, like, sit down at a table and then somebody counts and then, like, the first person to leave is, like, the first person to die. So we had a reference like that, and it's been just, like, say it as a... No, it's something like a bad luck, so like a superstition, something. But then we see a couple of times when that exact thing happens and it comes true. The first person to leave the table dies. So this is like, something that has been saying that, if this happened, this might happen as well. And then we see that, yes, exactly, that's happening.
Yeah.
So it's exactly that.
Yeah, I love this epigraph. I think it's incredibly clever. I wouldn't have thought that so many people would have prayed to Xaden in Navarre, but it's so ironic that they do and they don't have the knowledge. And the fact that it seems like Daddy Sorengale was religious or did believe in gods, and he taught Violet that very thing, that you don't pray to Xaden.
Yeah.
Because you go and get the knowledge yourself. And then the other thing that I wanted to kind of pick up on is there's a specific mention to Calder, and we know Auric Cam is from Calder because that is where the king lives.
Yes.
And we still can't figure out whether Auric is in fact in favour with Dune or is a servant of Dune. He doesn't have silver hair. There's no mention of his silver hair, is there?
No.
But the letter at the end from the priestess of Dune's temple says, from one servant of Dune to another. And it seems like that is addressed to Auric, although the obvious answer would be that she was just passing it to Auric via passing it to Violet via Auric, and the servant of Dune is that in question is actually Violet. That'll be the obvious answer. But it does seem to be that it's addressed to Auric. She's talking to Auric. She's saying from one servant of Dune to another, make sure she gets this, blah, blah, blah. She needs to use it in the dark.
Yeah.
She's talking to Auric. So I wonder if instead of Hadian, even though he is from Kaldea, he favours Dune because he chose to fight for peace.
I was thinking as well that maybe there's like certain levels of being into like a religious. So like I don't know, being Catholic, you have people there. Yes, you have the people who goes to church every Sunday. That's like a one tithe. Then you have people that goes daily. Then you have people that are actually living in the church and is like having constantly this religious, maybe priest or something like that.
A nun.
Yeah. So I wonder if all of them are kind of servants for the church, the Catholic Church in this case, as a example. So I wonder as well that you have like several like levels as well to be like a servant of a specific god. So you have maybe the maximum level when you have like this silver hair because you are like just like fully dedicated to this god.
Yeah, I like also if you think about the island where Hadian is like favoured, the Isle Kingdom, where Xaden's mum is. They're all, like, a bit brutal, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they were, like, kind of, like, too logical. So, like, no feelings involved. And, like, too rational to be, like, kind of, like, human.
Yeah. Moving on. But that is one of the cleverest epigraphs there is in this book. And I absolutely love it. So ironic.
Don't you think? So, this chapter, I was quite surprised the first time I read it because it's short. And
3 pages.
Yeah, and the same time, kind of like anticlimactic thing because, I mean, I don't want to take any credit to Violet because, wow, the way she plays here is like amazing. But at the same time, it was just like, boom, boom, boom.
What's the alternative? She gets roasted.
I don't know, I was expecting like maybe more drama, more, I don't know, intense or something, but it was just like, yeah, I did this last night, we've been forgetting and this morning, so you can't do anything to me. And they were like, you should write.
I think it was necessary, 100% necessary, because one, this is the worst thing they could have done. I mean, at least it went well, but they tampered with the protection of... Imagine that would be treated as a terrorism charge if it happened with, like... Imagine if somebody tried to break into successfully broke into a nuclear deterrent and changed the access system. Changed that would be, like, I mean, the heaviest penalty that you can get. I don't even know what that is in the UK. That's like that would be treated as really bad. That's essentially what they've done. So the worst, I mean, the penalty for treason is death, isn't it? Which is what I'm not a daddy anymore, Aetos is hoping for. So there needed to be something to get rid of that because how do you escape that? And still be part of the quadrant and still be part of the army and still be part of the quest squad and all of that. You've got to have some like full pardon to get away from that. Also, from a reader's perspective, this book is just adrenaline all the way through. So having a bit of respite from the adrenaline is definitely needed.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, definitely. So we're getting there, but... She is taken to the scenario when she can see that now Xaden has a seat as well as Duke and Tairn did.
He says, what happened to not getting into trouble? And he's like leaned back in his chair. He doesn't give a shit. He knows that this is all going to be fine. He knows she's got a plan. Being Brennan's actually really chilled him out. And I think we've got our fourth wing Xaden back. He trusts her. He knows that she's got a plan. There's several parts of this book. And I always question whether it's because Rebecca Yarros... Same with Dane and Kat. So she knew... Like, Xaden's the main love and interest. She loves Xaden. We all love Xaden. Xaden pissed us all off a little bit in Iron Flame when he became Dane. He essentially, like, switched places. I wonder if she was kind of, like, responding to fans here. Because she knew the response a little bit from Iron Flame. I wonder if she was, like, softening him a bit. Like, making him back... No, sorry, off the other way round, isn't it? It's hardening him back up a bit. And being like, nah, she's got this. She's fine. Yeah. Or is it a reflection on how, like, that's the outside the world perspective on it. If you go back inside the story and think of a reason for it, it could be that Violet, like we've talked about, Violet's foundations were really wobbly. He needed to hold her up the last time. And now he can see, hang on, she's back and she can do this. I also want to appreciate the Duke of Kaldea. The Duke of Kaldea is really good in this. And having said that, like, the epigraph specifically calls out Kaldea. I don't know whether there's a link here to whether the person prays to Hadean or not. But he hands I'm not a daddy anymore, Aetos, to... that's what I'm going to call him from now on. He hands him his ass on a plate, basically. He's like, remove yourself if you can't be silent, Aetos. You have no purview here. I love that bit. It's almost as good as the bit later on where Violet talks to Markham and she's like, don't you dare talk to me. There's a couple of things, though, because we'll get to it, but the Duke of Kaldea says a few things where you're just like, he doesn't give a shit. He's on Violet's side. And I don't know why. I don't know whether there's this link to Hadean. I'm going to have to think about it as we talk about it.
Yeah. Going back to Xaden being like so chill in this, even when the crime that Violet is facing off is so like serious. If you put yourself in his place, they went to the scenario and saying that, we found out that somebody changed the wallstone. The flyer now, they can channel magic, and we found this in the chamber, so it's in the lightning badge. So he saw it before, and then he can see that it was like perfectly cut, so it's not like it's been let die in an accident or whatever. It was delivery put in there, so it can found easily. So he can like, he knows. She is doing something. And then by the time that she comes back, and maybe she can see that she had this attitude that like, she know what she's doing. And then it's like, oh, I thought we had a deal that you're not going to be into trouble. So maybe like teasing a little bit. I never said that.
Yeah.
So like, she's into something. So he's like, I'm going to see, like, just being a spectator. See, like, what is going to happen now. But then, she confessed that last night she did that she changed the wallstone so the flyers can stay and you're welcome. And everyone is like, can't believe it. And they're like, no, wow, what are we going to do with this? Because they were not expecting like such a confession. And so they're like, nothing. Yeah.
He says, she alters our defenses. And then what? Goes back to class, and that's like the one of the duchesses says that. And the Duke of Kaldea again says, it would seem so. Again, he's like not bothered by the whole thing.
Yeah.
And then Xaden's like, there's not a thing we can do to her. He puts her patch back in his pocket. And the others slowly agree. It says 4 of them with more than a little anger in their eyes. So 4 out of 6 or 7, depending on whether Melgren is there.
Yeah.
And I can almost bet that is, well, I know that it's Tyrandor, so Xaden, but also Kaldea seems to be a bit more chill about the whole situation.
Yes.
Is that because he favours Hadean? Because he's like impressed. with the knowledge.
Yeah.
Could be like impressed that they knew how to do it.
I think it's the whole thing. Impressed about they managed to change the world stone, and they're impressed they managed to do it in this way. They can't do anything against them.
But is that because he, as the Duke of Kaldr, and as the epigraph says, they favour Halden because of knowledge? Is that why he's so impressed? And he's like, yeah, it's pretty cool.
Yeah, probably.
Such a clever epigraph. Just bloody love it. This might be my favourite one. Oh no, my favourite one is about the it's from the librarian, Queen Mariah's librarian.
And talking about Queen Mariah, she is there, so obviously she saw the whole thing, the whole show. So Violet recognized her. She did like a reverence, as I should be. And I think when I was reading this, I was like, yep, this is another hint that she is now Xaden's mom. Because obviously we were just like guessing. Well, I don't know us, but a lot of people think that Queen Mariah was Xaden's mom.
I was on that train, I think. Yeah, I thought that she could be.
For me, obviously when I was reading here, like, okay, she is there, Xaden is all chill, so obviously he knows.
Yeah, it was debunked at that point. But there was a few things. There was the Poromish tapestry hanging in Ryerson House, so there's the link to Poromil. There was also the fact that there was so many mentions of Xaden not having any siblings. And then there was several mentions of Queen Mariah not having any children, and it just seemed a little bit like... So, yeah, but this was debunked at this exact moment when Queen Mariah arrives, and she's just lovely.
Yeah, it was like so good and so disappointing at the same time, because we see her now, like she is there, she likes Violet, because obviously she just saw how she played it, and she played it really well, and she's impressed. And then when they're having this conversation like alone, she said that you risk the words of your kingdom, so my flyers can stay here. And then she was like, yeah, I did it because it was the right thing to do. So you see that Queen Mariah is such a like really good character. But I think this was like the first and maybe the last time that we see her. So she's like, you think like, oh my god, Violet had done like such a good alliance here with the Queen of Poromil. And then a few chapters later, somebody killed her. And
but she's got a better alliance with the King of Poromil, hasn't she? Takaris. She's got a better alliance with him.
Yeah, I mean, they still have like a really good relationship. The problem is that I don't trust the Tairn.
Yeah, I don't
Mariah, it looked like more like, I don't know, like she deserved to be a queen.
Takaris has got some deals going on with some people.
And I imagine as a king, like how much power he knows to keep them with the deals and the bargains.
Yeah. I think that Queen Mariah is just like stepping stone character. I don't think she was that important, unfortunately.
Yeah, it's just that I thought we'll see more of her, but
I totally forgot she died, so...
Yes. So she's impressed with Violet, and then she said, like, why you did that? And it's just because the agreement that you have with Yarros. And she said, like, yes, because he had like this massive library, and I need all the information as possible. And she said, like, yeah, he has a really good library, but it's not the best. Mine is the best. I was thinking, imagine if I should just say that and they just like, bye.
Mine is the best. See ya, don't want to be here. That is so funny. Although she does say it's the best one, but we haven't been able to find anything useful, so it's not the best one, is it?
Yeah. But she has access to all of that. She's going to send somebody to send her like the catalog or all the more than 1,000 books. I think she can.
And she's got one scribe. She's got Justinia.
Yes. And yeah, so that's it for Violet. She's leaving the scenario, and the other side is waiting for her. I think with Ridoc as well, because they were like thinking like, shit, she might maybe got killed or something, but no, nothing happened here.
Are they not all there? I thought the whole squad came.
Well, I think she said that the squad is there, but just and Ridoc are like the ones talking to her. So I don't know if the other ones are just quiet or maybe not close. So Violet is just there with their friends and everything is fine. And then General Aetos is the one who comes back and you're not going to get rid of all your punishment. You will pay for this. And she started to like argument with him.
I cannot believe Rebecca Yarros did this to us.
Yeah. Here when we found out that he is now General Commander of Baskayath. And she is shocked, like, what? This guy is replacing my mom. And Brennan is the one who arrives as well. That doesn't suit you or doesn't fit you. So.
There's something suspicious about this. Can I read this passage?
Sure.
Because I don't know if I'm just being a bit suspicious about Brennan again.
Okay.
Well, not Brennan. Daddy Aetos. You will face consequences, Aetos roars from the left, and I pivot, putting myself between him and my friends as he charges down the thick red carpet at us. Like he's like running down the corridor. Anger rises, swift and strong, bringing power rushing to the surface of my skin. Not from you, she won't. Brennan steps through the line of guards directly in front of me and shakes his head. You! Aetos recoils. This whole time!
Mm-hmm.
Why do I feel like that's suspicious? Like, Aetos obviously didn't know that Brennan was alive.
Yeah.
Because he's been, I don't know what he's been doing, dicking around in a coastal outpost. But he was like, this whole time, I don't know why he's so angry about it. Like, for me, it was like, he knew he was dead.
Mm-hmm.
Even though there was no body, even though there was no, like...
No, officially he was dead for everyone, yeah.
Yeah, but for me it was like, he knew he was dead because he witnessed it or something.
Mm-hmm.
Not because he, like, just heard about it. I don't know. I know I'm probably overthinking it, but that bit, just for me, felt a little bit suspicious.
For me, for this scene, I take it like that he just found out that he is alive. Like, you all this time.
Yeah,
and then
maybe.
He's like, yes, me. But I guess because he was like close friend to General Sorengel, he probably he saw her.
And he saw the grief.
Yeah, all that kind of stuff. So I'm like, oh my god, I can't believe that.
He definitely wasn't a close friend though. They were keeping him close because later you find out that they didn't trust anyone, and he did trust him at first because he told him that he was researching feather tails, and then he stopped telling him things because there was a moment when he realised that he couldn't trust him, and I think from that moment onwards, Lilith was just keeping him close so that she could keep an eye on him because she knew he was up to something.
Yeah.
And possibly to protect Dane because we know about how much they would do to protect their children, and Dane spent a lot of time with Daddy Sorengel because we know that they were being trained and quizzed and taught languages.
He invests some time on him as well.
Possibly they wanted Dane's dad, Dane's non-dad anymore. He doesn't have a son. That he wanted to keep them close so he could protect Dane.
Yeah.
Which is sweet.
I think there was a time when they're like maybe thinking that maybe Dane and Violet they will end together. They're going to get married, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, because that comes up so funny in the bookstore.
Yeah.
And they're like...
And that woman confused Xaden by, you must be Dane.
He got everything right apart from their hair and their eye. And Mira's like, sorry, I can't cope, I can't breathe.
I love that scene because Xaden was like all the time like so happy. Like when they're going just there, everyone like, is he okay?
Yeah.
Like, what's wrong with him? And he like so happy, and then like, oh, but you must be Dane. Done.
Oh, it's good. But then Dane gets a slap in the face from Zanal, so it's all fine.
So, yes, They're having like a little fight here. Violet is not scared of him anymore. She said like, I'm the one who one of the biggest dragon on the continent. The other one is one of the rarest. My signet is like, yeah, trying to find another one like me.
But what is Dane's dad's signet? We still don't know.
That's still a mystery, and I think that's gonna be like some of the explanation of all the stuff that's going on in Second Wing. So
yeah, I tend to think he is not mind control now because he's not able to do that for Violet. I think he would be trying to do that with Violet right now. I do think that he will be some kind of balance for something though.
I don't know. Probably in the end, it's just going to be a fire welder. That way, he's a bad guy because he has a cheated signet.
It's little signet syndrome. Little signet syndrome strikes again, like Car.
Yeah.
Aura.
Yeah, so she is saying that you can afford to kill me because obviously that will go against Xaden as well. Now the Duke of Tyrrendor or Sagel as well. And he was like, okay, I can't do anything against you, but I can do something against your friends. And then is when Violet like, oh shit, I was poking the bear and now the bear is awake.
But why would she not in this moment just be like, no, you're not going to do anything to my friends because I have the most powerful dragon. I have the rarest one. I also have a really, really strong signet. So you need me. So you will not do anything to my friends. Thank you very much. Like, why is the threat different?
Well, it's because it's more about line of command, isn't it?
We're like, Tairn, just go and find his dragon and take a chunk out of him. Just
well, that's like something that I not like fully understand about this because obviously Violet, she has the power to just tell it to Melgreen like, fuck you, just put like the middle finger in the face and yeah. Kodak is there, but she has Tairn, she has Andarna, she has lightning. Just with one lightning to the dragon, that's it. The dragon is gone. So she could overtake the whole thing, and more with Xaden. Xaden is dead, but they are in the army. They have to follow orders, even for the orders they are not agree about.
But they're not following the orders, are they?
I mean, in this scene, as a punishment, General Aetos sent them to Samara. And they had to be there and the next day.
I know it's a plot device. She needed to get them to Samara so that they could go and see Maren's family die, apart from the twins brothers. The whole thing about riders being more powerful than their chain of command does feel a little bit problematic. So that's the end. Next week we will pick up we'll pick up in Samara. Before we look at next week's epigraph, we will do Oryx Auguries in honour of our favourite prince's signet. This is the part of the show where we talk about our favourite theories from this group of chapters. What is there hasn't been a massive amount of theories today. It's just more like kind of breaking down the plot, but what's your favourite?
I was still thinking that maybe, yes, we're going to see all this story. It's just the story about why we don't have more magic. That maybe it's in the real world. But the ultimate balance of magic is going to be, there's not going to be magic for anyone else anymore.
Yeah, I agree. Oh, I love it. And there was a little bit of a hint to that this week. My most intriguing, it's a half-baked theory, but my most intriguing theory that's come up this week is when Ridoc said, I wonder which part of the protection we removed. I do think that will come back, and I do think they have removed some significant part of protection. Like I said before, I can really see a moment where they expect the Wyvern to drop and they do not drop and they plough straight through the wards and it'll be a bloodbath.
Yeah.
Let's see.
No.
So sticking with the theme of precognition, let's look at the epigraph from next week. Chapter 9. Calling cadets into active service in times of war may only be authorised by the Commanding General of Basgiath. Article 8, Section 1, the Dragon Riders Codex.
Okay, let's do the interrogation chamber.
So the interrogation chamber is when we address a difficult question. We asked which object will have a more significant role in the next book. What are you going for?
I like the box of emptiness.
Box of nothingness.
No, the nothingness, yes.
Yeah, what's that going to do? What's your thing?
I don't know, but Xaden was laughing, and I think it will come out and he will see what he can do with it, and then we're going to be, oh shit, this is actually good.
Yeah. But what?
I don't know, maybe you can put whatever you want to put there and never fails, because like there's nothing there, but there's like no end, or
I feel like he could
you can hide something and then show it and there's nothing, and then you can
like
take
a
it back.
magic trick.
Yeah.
I feel like he might be able to use it as a way of escape, feeling nothingness. Like, I don't know. But yeah.
Yeah, what about you?
I believe the Sword of Tyrandor has a significant purpose. I think it gives some kind of additional power to the wielder. But I'm not going to go with that. So I'm actually cheating, and I'm going to have two, like I did last week. The compass, I think it will be either it will just lead her to what she needs the most, kind of like isn't that like Jack Sparrow's compass? What does that do?
I think it's just pointing out what you deeply desire or something like this.
I feel like it will do a similar thing.
Yeah, definitely. I see that as well.
And then that will lead her to the cure.
Not to say that when he's trying to find it.
Yeah, it was obviously not broken.
Yeah, it's gonna be like Jack Sparrow's as well, I think.
Right, yeah.
Yeah. The other thing I think is going to have a big role in this book is going to be broccoli. So I have two as well.
Broccoli's not an object, though.
Well, it's going for something else.
Yeah, but it's not an artifact. Broccoli is a creature. But we all love broccoli. We should start a broccoli fan club. So, question for this week. If you had to be dedicated to one of the gods, which would you choose?
Interesting one.
It's going to be obvious which one I'm going to choose because I've talked about it today. Okay, we'll leave that question with you all week and you can answer it. Don't forget to follow us on Instagram and TikTok at Faithfully Fantasy Pod. We now offer exclusive content through subscriptions on Instagram, Spotify, Apple Podcasts and Supercast via our website. With so many options, there's something for everyone. We're most active on Instagram and Discord, so be sure to join the conversation and connect with us there.
And with this, we have just one more thing to say. Thank you for listening to Faithfully Fantasy,
the husband and wife podcast talking all things Onyx Storm.
We hope you enjoyed today's episode, and we'll see you next week with more theories, more deep dives, and of course, with more Faithfully Fantasy.
Bye!